I studied geology because I wanted to understand how God created the world. That was really why. I've been fascinated by nature my whole life. I used to collect rocks when I was small. I had a collection of now I know it's quartz. You know that rock that's like
That's
a
what
lot of I am a woman who fears the Lord and tries her best to walk in line with that calling and that fear. My social media work started with me creating short reels when reels first started. When I were the people who grew with Instagram, you guys, we know when it was just pictures.
Yes.
So when reels came in, I started creating these short snippets of scripture readings, and it blossomed into this beautiful ministry that I spearhead now.
How did you get consciously introduced to God? What is the event or events around 1920 that say
Boys.
Okay,
It's always the boys.
It's
Every day of my life.
like boys.
Hey, Jolo will bring you to your knees,
There's sometimes doctrines in Christianity that help a person be isolated and
What do you think Bible bashing is? My teen years and early 20s, fornication was a big problem. Nothing is as hard as sexual sin. I tend to say, what is going on? That's hard. And you find yourself satisfying that lust, more so than you actually want to.
Of course.
It is a form of addiction. And if you don't spend time studying addiction and how people don't want to do drugs but they keep doing drugs, you won't understand the world of sin. I think for a female, knowing your cycle is so important because there comes a time when we hear a certain call.
Hello, everybody. Dumelang kaofela. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have been enjoying your interactions and your comments, and thank you to everybody who has subscribed. Thank you to the new subscribers that are going to come after this episode. Thank you for the community that continues to grow. Your feedback helps me grow. Without you, I don't grow, and neither does the podcast. Today, guys, I have a lovely guest whom I've been eyeing out, and I had the courage to ask you to come on.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming and making the time, Claire. Today, we have Mosili Pebane.
Yes,
Have
you
I
got
pronounced
the D right. Yes.
Oh,
I didn't know.
Mati,
What?
Hey, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Mo South Africa wena so nne ke nahana hore maybe ke another language nyana. I don't know. Okay. Nice to know.
So fellow Sutu girly.
Lovely.
Let me introduce you properly.
Okay.
Mosili is a Christian coach, speaker, and teacher with a ministry called Rafa. So interested to talk about that. You're a content creator, which is also part of your ministry, the way I interpret it. That is also focused on healing conversations and sharing your faith with God. You are a mineralogist or by profession. Yeah. Mineralogy analyst. Ne? Let's just start there. What is that? I've been wanting to know.
So it's a wing of geology.
Okay.
But specifically now studying the minerals that make up the rocks. So their composition, their shapes, how they occur in relation to one another, because the mines then exploit those characteristics to get out the valuable minerals like your platinum and your gold and so on. Yeah. So we analyze. Hence mineralogy analyst. We analyze the samples.
I see. It's these professions that I feel like we just hear, or maybe it's me. Let me not speak for everybody. But we hear but aren't often spoken about, and I don't know what that person day to day does. What do you day to day do?
So how it depends. You can have a mineralogist who's a lecturer. You can have a mineralogist who works in a mineralogy lab. I work in a mineralogy lab. So my day is waking up, getting to work first and foremost.
You have to make sure you get there.
Yeah, I get to work, and then I literally get samples that are prepared for me, and I put them in the machine, and I set up this high-tech thing. It's like a big box of a thing with detectors and cables coming out of it. Looks like something from Frankenstein, really. Cables coming out of it, but it's just something called an electron beam source that's being directed into a high vacuum chamber, and that's what I use to analyze my samples. Then I use software to interpret and generate reports, certain numbers, etc. So it's
So
like,
you tell them the quality of the mineral that has been extracted from that rock.
or I help them troubleshoot if they're having issues extracting on the plants. So I'll say this might be the reason why you're struggling. Your gold is locked inside a particular mineral, so you won't be able to get to it, or the size is too small, or
Patung.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how did we get to that as an interest?
I studied geology because I wanted to understand how God created the world. That was really why. I've been fascinated by nature my whole life. I used to collect rocks when I was small. I had a collection of now I know it's quartz. You know that rock that's like
That's
a
my
lot of
daughter's name.
yeah. Oh, that's a beautiful name. I wish I named my daughter Lakwe now because I love rocks. The next one that the Lord will provide. I might just steal the name.
Yes.
So I used to collect mahakwe and keep them in my room. My mom would throw them out, but when I came
What
to
age is
choose-
this that you're collecting?
Super small, like 6'5", very young. I was
God.
intrigued by just minerals. So then when I decided a career, I said, I want to understand how God created. Because we always say, in the beginning, God created. And I asked myself the question, how? How did he create? So I did geology and I learned how he created. And in doing that, I got exposed to mineralogy through my bursary, actually. Because I thought I was going to work in the mines, but then I figured I don't have to work in the bundus because I'm a city girl.
Okay.
City girls are up.
Okay.
I wasn't going to go. No, I grew up in Lesotho. What do you mean? In a village in the middle of Maseru.
Okay.
But I love city life.
When did you come to South Africa?
I came to South Africa when I was 16 years old. Yeah. Rustenburg.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I started. And then school here at Wits. And then been here ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Hare Humusi. I read, nah?
Yeah.
But you're very private. There's very little about you.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but I always say I want my guests, even especially those in the public eye, to tell me and the people at home how you want us to know you. Let us not speak on your behalf. Kemang Mosili.
Mosili is a goofy girl from Maseru, Lesotho. Although now I feel so estranged from home because now this is home to me.
Okay.
But I am a woman who fears the Lord and tries her best to walk in line with that calling and that fear. I love life. I do my best to enjoy my life. And within the limits of what God has set out for me.
Okay.
Because sometimes you can enjoy life outside of those limits.
Yes.
And it doesn't necessarily end well. But that's who I am. Really, for me, my faith is the biggest part of me. But yeah, that's me. Goofy girl, love to laugh, love a good joke, appreciate a good joke. And yeah, how to describe myself that way. Simple.
What do you enjoy doing? Because you say
Singing.
you like singing, yes, and you've got such a beautiful voice.
Thank you. Singing and teaching are my favorite things to do.
Is that how you got into coaching?
Yes. So my social media work started with me creating short reels when reels first started. When I were the people who grew with Instagram, you guys, we know when it was just pictures.
Yes.
So when reels came in, I started creating these short snippets of scripture readings, and it blossomed into this beautiful ministry that I spearhead now. So yeah, that's how that work started, was just short reels, and then longer reels. As it got longer, my messages got longer, then gave birth to my teaching ministry, which then happened on YouTube. I used to also do, Sis Dolly.
Yes.
I used to do a Sis Dolly for Christians
used to
during
write
COVID.
to Sis Dolly about our problems.
Yes, but for Christians this time around on my YouTube page during COVID. It actually started because of COVID. So that then became teaching and speaking, and now, you people inviting me, you cool people with podcasts inviting me to speak on matters. Yeah, that's how that journey started.
How did you get consciously introduced to God? Because if you're talking to me about a 6-year-old who's really curious about God's creation, and I wouldn't say you being introduced to God because God created you, but consciously saying,
yes, Lord, for the rest of my days.
Yeah, this is me and you.
I think I was 15.
Okay.
But even then, I wouldn't say it was conscious. I
Okay.
think it was more recognizing that, okay, there's something here, but not fully. You know, when you get baptized super young, like, I mean, I'm a teenager. I haven't even lived that much. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Like, life is yet to unfold before me. For me, if you say consciously, where I now say for myself, Lord, I'm going to live for you, I was probably 20.
Okay.
That's when I was 20, even though I got baptized when I was 15. But it took those 5 years for me to get to a point where I'm like, I'm still not getting it right. I'm still
Okay.
doing things in my own strength. I'm still fumbling and doing my own teenage things.
Okay.
I'm done with that now, Lord. Have your way.
Okay.
That was 2019, around
Okay.
that age range.
And what is the event or events around 1920 that say,
Boys.
okay,
It's always the boys.
It's
Every day of my life.
Bafana the boys.
Hey, you know, Mjolo will bring you to your knees. You know, Mjolo does the Lord's work, babe.
Yeah.
It does the Lord's
will
work.
humble
Like, it will
you.
say, yay, there has to be
Yeah.
more. There has to
Yeah.
be something I can cling to on the hard days. And it
Yeah.
was just happenings with a particular individual that
Okay.
led me to Jesus. So thank you for breaking my heart.
So what does that look like? It looks like heartbreak and then you get baptized again, or
No.
like how, like,
No.
what
Just
does that mean?
an internal conviction.
Okay.
Internal conviction to say I have to do things differently. And that's when I started deep diving into the Word of God and no longer just reading. You know, sometimes we read to tick the box of read, but actually studying, what does this mean? Where does this come from? What's the background of this? How do I then apply this from what I've learned? So that journey started at that age, 1920, for me.
Okay. So reading for understanding.
Reading for understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then this is the turning point, and now it's been years walking with God, right? What has that journey been like? What have been the highs? What have been the lows of walking with God? Because I think a lot of us talk about this journey of discipleship. And in Dubai, I attend a Bible study, and I think I'm one of the the people that always say, guys, this thing that is being said in this book is hard. It's hard. And I think it's one thing to read it, it's one thing to live it every day.
And that's why I think even the writers of some of the books will say, be not only hearers, because it's easy to hear.
Yeah.
The doing. Every day.
Like, we were reading the book of Malachi.
Oh, that one. Yo throws hands, my sister. Yes.
And every chapter, I was like, noise. Absolutely.
Yo, God was mad in Malachi, man. He was not happy.
You understand?
Yeah.
And I think my conviction there was I do believe and I do try my best, but I also never want to portray that this is an easy journey.
It's not.
You know, and I think people like you who have ministries that are public, or one of the reasons I've been intrigued and pulled by you is you're real, you're authentic, you speak about practicalities of doing life. So when you're saying at 20, I said, God, I want to walk with you and I want to do it and have fun within the confines of what your word says. What are those challenges though?
I think for every human, it's hard not to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like for me, that's what it boils down to. Being a Christian is you not doing what you want to do. So you're not doing what's comfortable. You're not doing what's intuitive. You literally have to fight your intuition because your intuition can be rooted in your flesh, right? So you have to always be questioning yourself. So you have to live in a state of awareness. And it's easier to be on autopilot.
Yeah.
Just do things. Like I just felt like it. Like there's no reason. But when you are a child of God, you literally have to examine yourself,
right?
Which is what Paul says, examine yourself. And it's not easy, nor is it enjoyable to examine yourself, because through my journey with the Lord, there's parts of myself I've met that have made me want to run away from me. There's parts of myself that I've met that I couldn't believe I was capable of such a thing.
Can I ask about those parts?
Oh,
I get it. This is the part. This is the part about and not I'm not asking a gossip. Ne?
Yeah.
I'm asking for us who are still navigating this, ne? And sometimes we can maybe live in condemnation.
Oh my
we
word.
can feel like we have the ultimate sin.
Unforgivable.
unforgivable.
Yeah.
And this is how the devil also moves you away, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's sometimes doctrines in Christianity that help a person be
Yes.
isolated
What do
and
you,
judgmental.
what do you think Bible bashing is?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So when whether it's on a platform or not, when I speak to another disciple and I ask about what are the challenges, it's about one, acknowledgement that I'm not the only one, but also even if my experience isn't the same as yours, it's understanding how to learn from somebody else's journey.
Yeah. But
And
also, more importantly, seeing how, despite this person having a common sin as I have, they are able to rise in their godliness.
Okay.
I think that's so powerful, and that's part of the reason why there's actually a part of my ministry that is loading, where I'm going to be airing out my skeletons.
Okay.
Do I want to do that? No, but the Lord
said it's time.
said it's time. All right, because I understand the power of what you're saying. But for example, in my early 20s, my teen years and early 20s, fornication was a big problem. Nothing is as hard as sexual sin, I maintain to say. My word, what is going on that side? Okay? And I think the most painful thing about fornication is it's literally Romans 7 that says, the good I want to do, I do not do, but the evil I don't want to do, I do. So you're like, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to. I did it. I'm not going to do it. So it's like this roller coaster of consistent disappointment in self. Like you're really trying, like you really don't want to be there, but there's something in your flesh that craves, and you find yourself satisfying that lust, like more so than you actually want to. If it was based on sheer will, you wouldn't, but you find yourself there. And a lot of people can grow impatient if you don't understand the cycle of that addiction, because I've realized that sin is addictive.
Of course.
It is a form of addiction. And if you don't spend time studying addiction, and how people don't want to do drugs, but they keep doing drugs, you won't understand the hold of sin. If it's based on sheer will, then Jesus wouldn't have had to come. It's not based on sheer will. If I could will it for myself not to fall, I wouldn't. But Jesus knows something about us as human beings that despite me not wanting to do it, I find myself doing it.
I've never heard anybody link it that way as addiction.
It's addiction.
You know, I've heard it with like demonic pull, with, you know, the spiritual
but it's
pull.
Demonic.
But
it's demonic.
If you think of psychologically addiction and that cycle, I think that's an interesting.
It brings it, I suppose, into the more physical realm, not so much spiritual and mystic.
Both. I think that it also maybe it would help somebody understand. So in psychology, an addiction is an illness. It's a disease. And once you see it that way, even how you approach somebody who's living with addiction comes with grace, comes with patience, right? So if I had a brother or sister or myself, they say I'm struggling with fornication. This is where condemnation can come in, right? But if I view it in the lens of an addictive lens, I understand that it's not in my strength. And with addiction, people, places, and things is one of the solutions of changing and shifting.
And also, it's something you can get help for. And I'm yet to challenge the Christian community to create spaces for help.
Why do you think there aren't those spaces?
Because we all go to these churches putting on a face.
Waban, here it is. And this is why I was asking, what are those skeletons? Because as somebody who's been called to teach, I don't think you don't have the right to privacy. I'm not that kind of person, and I don't think that in order to teach, people have to bare their souls and their dirty laundry. But whatever balance God gives you, like now he's saying it's time for a different way of showing, right?
It's giving Jonah, but
I think it helps the mandate of discipleship, which is part of our mandate is to pull lost souls through how we live. So if you're speaking to me, Hopelang, about fornication, and I may be living with that addiction and that struggle, through you, it's God talking to me ultimately, whether I believe it or not, right? Because sometimes we're talking to non-believers.
And that's why the Bible will say we overcome by the word of our testimony and the blood of the Lamb.
There you go.
Our testimony is powerful. For somebody to see how God brought you through something is so powerful. But there's so many people in your local church, ne, who struggled with fornication in their
Who are still
years,
struggling.
who may still be struggling with fornication. But none of us are speaking to each other and sharing that wealth of knowledge. How do I stop?
And how do I overcome?
How do I overcome?
Yeah.
And maybe I went through it, 10 years ago now? And I can share with you that, hey, bro, this is how I got through it. Try these things. But because at church, all we're doing is, hallelujah, praise you, Lord. Sermon, sermon, sermon.
Your voice.
Sermon, sermon, sermon. Shake hands, shake hands. There's no, I'm really struggling with these, you guys. Like, I have a boyfriend. I love him. And I found myself now being sexually active, and I don't know how to get out.
What are those tools? Those practical tools? Because it ties into Christian dating as well.
I think for a female, knowing your cycle is so important, because there comes a time when we hear a certain call.
I follow a lot of Christian ladies.
Yes.
And in their teachings, some of them are brave enough to talk about that week.
Oh,
that week. Oh my goodness.
It's so hard. So understand your cycle, but also, as I said, understand sin as addiction. I like to listen to things that have to do with addiction because I feel like it teaches me about my mind.
Okay.
When it comes to sin, as I said, I draw those parallels. And there's an acronym called HALT that they teach to addicts. It stands for hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
Okay.
If you're an addict, don't get too hungry, don't get too angry, don't get too lonely, and don't get too tired. So you have to manage.
Define the hunger.
Hunger is I want food.
Okay.
You should not allow yourself to get too hungry, because what the brain does is it remembers those things that give it a dopamine hit when you are desperate for relief.
I hear you.
So if you're in a high stress.
The Dream Stream studio in Randburg is a full-service studio on Bromfisher Drive. It's perfectly suited for podcast, music recordings, and general video recordings. Backed up by an experienced editing and production team means you can walk in, record, and walk out knowing that everything will get done as you require. Our mobile gear ensures we can cover your video and live streaming needs on location too. We got the cameras, the lights, and the action to make you and your brand shine. Contact us now, studio@dreamstream.co.za, and we'll make it happen. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
State,
Yes.
hunger, anger, loneliness,
Yes.
tiredness.
Yes.
Your mind is like, what's the thing that made me better
Yes.
the last time?
Yes.
What's the quickest thing to get me out of this stress state? Then if for you it's pornography, you're going to go for it. If it's fornication, you're going to go for it. Do you get what I mean?
Got you.
So now it means I have to manage my lifestyle like an addict.
Yeah.
Also,
Routine.
And addicts, they always say that you're never free of your addiction. That's why in AA they'll say, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm an alcoholic. So you need to say, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm a fornicator.
You're forever recovering.
Hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm a porn addict.
Right.
So you are aware that I have this weakness in my psyche that I fill with a particular sin.
Can I disagree just a little bit?
Just a little bit is fine.
Just a little
Just
bit.
the tiny bits.
I have a thing about power of the tongue.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's not my thing, it comes from the Bible. But I have a thing about coming into agreement with things.
Okay. I hear you.
So
I've heard that
Yeah.
before.
So where I would slightly just
Tweak it.
be it AA, whatever the addictive aspect is. Hi, I'm Hopelang. I'm a recovering. I said it off air.
Yes.
I'm a recovering whatever.
I hear you.
And not to dismiss that I'm forever recovering, because if I once fell in that way, I am susceptible to falling.
And I think that's
way.
the heart of that phrase. But
Yeah.
I hear you're tweaking and I agree with it.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't speak. You're defining yourself based on your weakness.
For me, it feels like I'm giving the devil a loophole to forever have that hold on me.
But you don't want to lose the awareness. So you say, I
Right.
am a recovering.
Recovering.
Let's tweak it.
So I don't
I'm
want
a
to dismiss
recovering
that I'm
fornicator.
yeah.
Because what I was about to say is the danger is sometimes if we live like we don't have the weakness,
Yes.
then we become
Yes.
victims to the enemy, because he will trip you up because you are not aware that I have this weakness in me that I feel in a particular way
Fair.
if I'm pushed into a high stress state.
Fair.
So I agree with you. I touch and agree
Fair.
with you on that. But there needs to be an awareness. The Bible even says, if you think you're strong, take heed lest you fall. If you think you're strong over the thing that you struggled with, take heed lest you fall. So we have to live in a state of awareness that we live with the spirit and the flesh consistently wrestling inside of us. That war is every single day.
And that's why we have to die daily.
Every single day.
Every
We're fighting
day.
something.
Yeah.
Okay? And so if you live in the awareness of that, then you can mitigate your lifestyle. That health, hunger, anger, loneliness, tiredness. That means when you're hungry, meet the need. When you're angry, meet the need.
Okay.
When you're lonely, meet the need. When you're tired, meet the need.
Okay.
And don't push yourself too far, because once you push yourself too far, you're going to reach for the thing. Like literally there was an experiment they ran on rats. They took a rat, they got it hooked on cocaine. It would push a lever and cocaine would come out. Over time, they stopped dispensing the cocaine. It forgot about it, went back into the rat cage. But the moment they shocked it with pain, it ran back to the lever and hit that thing frantically because it's trying to relieve. And they're like, we're not very different in the way that we react to pain, to trouble, to struggle, which is, in this life, we'll have many troubles. Jesus said that. So if every time you have trouble, we are not
to that thing.
Yeah, we're not aware that I'm bound to go to the lever in this state, then it will sneak up on you all the time. But if you live in the awareness that I tend to go this way on ovulation week, or when I'm lonely, all of a sudden I'm texting this guy. I haven't even seen him in 2 months. I'm lonely. I'm tired. I need relief, like I'm burnt out. I'm not meeting my need. I'm not sleeping enough. I'm not resting enough. So lifestyle is such an important part of being a Christian. And that means you have to forfeit a lot of things. Because we're talking about how hard it is to walk with the Lord sometimes. You have to forfeit a lot of things. You can't be out too late in the night, because tiredness might be a trigger for you, girl.
Right.
All right. You can't be clubbing. You can't be up in there because maybe you're lonely. Next thing you see somebody, you're going off with them. Do you get what I mean? So there's things where your lifestyle is not normal.
And
that's hard.
And it comes with a sacrifice of saying goodbye to things that maybe in previous seasons.
You know how many men I love that I had to say goodbye to?
Yeah.
That I was like, this is it. But because it's not aligning with God's values, I have to say, this is not good for me. I need to can this and I have to let it go. So there's a lot of loss, a lot of grief in denying yourself. It's not an easy thing. That's why Jesus says, take up your cross, because that cross, denying yourself, is not easy.
I was talking to a friend the other day, and we both shed a few tears on the sacrifice that it takes to walk in discipleship and the loss. Like, we don't talk enough about the loss,
the grief,
you know,
the mourning.
And we talk a lot. We throw these terms out like the pretty obedience. It comes with grief.
I've cried a lot of tears because of obedience.
It comes with grief.
Yeah. And a lot of just being in an uncomfortable space.
Yeah.
Because sometimes obedience means being out of control completely. Like you're not controlling anything. You're kind of just waiting and trusting, right? And that's not easy.
And you don't get to say how long you wait for.
I think the not knowing is the worst part.
And it's the not knowing how long you're going to wait for and not knowing whether
what outcome will be. And just kind of bracing yourself.
And what is
Lord, please.
Yeah, what do we do with that? Like, so I have a couple of friends who are waiting for marriage. I know you're waiting for marriage. We're praying for marriage.
I mean, when the Lord wills it.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So you're now one of the people I know who, you know, young ladies waiting for marriage. And I have a friend who I always ask her, I'm like, how do we know? How do you know that you're meant to get married? What if God has selected us to be unmarried in this life, right? And her answer is always that desire would not stay, right? That desire would not stay. And we both like come together with the opinion of, I've had this desire as a little girl, right? And then you get into other things, like we've been conditioned as women to grow up
Disney
movies and whatever. But then with my relationship with God, I've heard him tell me, you're somebody's wife, right? And then there's that waiting period. And I think you can sometimes get discouraged. You can be like, did I hear him correctly? How long? You hear women saying, I waited 10 years. I'm like, 10 years.
I mean, I've been hearing these testimonies too.
You know what I mean?
I
I'm
think
like,
I got 1 year left in me, Lord.
you know?
10 years, oh my word, yeah. No, I
What
hear
do we
you.
do? What that waiting period?
You know, I want to answer your friend who says the desire wouldn't be there. And I want to reference the Bible because that's the authority on everything, right? Jesus speaks about their types of eunuchs.
Yes.
There are ones who are born eunuchs,
Yeah.
ones who are made eunuchs, and ones who choose to be eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom.
Right. For those who don't know, because let's not assume everybody who's watching this
knows.
Is a believer, reads the Bible, or has read that chapter. What is a eunuch?
A eunuch is somebody in this context who, I think, let's talk about the three types. Born eunuchs would be asexual people, what we call asexual people. Made eunuchs, back in those days, whoever would be the closest servant to the princesses or the queens would be made eunuchs, as in they take away their male parts. Choose to be eunuchs would be somebody who remains unmarried, like the Apostle Paul. So they were not born asexual, they were not made asexual, but they choose to just, I'm not gonna marry, I'm gonna stay single.
Right.
Whenever I think about this, what if marriage is not in the cards for me, I always remember Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego when they say, I know God can do it, but even if he does not.
Right.
Even if he does not. Because for me, that helps me to understand that it is a desire I have, but God might have another desire for me. And for you, great, you got a word, girl. You know God said you're going to be somebody's person. Your waiting might be a little bit more different from somebody who doesn't have an actual word.
Right.
That you need to understand that God is the ultimate authority on us. That's why we're here, right? We're surrendering ourselves to him. And it's so important for you in everything, even the things we ask for, to have an even if mentality. Even if I never get it. Even if I never graduate. Even if I never get the child.
What is your answer to that?
To what?
If God doesn't answer that, would you be happy? Is he enough?
I always say to him, make yourself enough for me.
Okay.
Teach me how you can be enough. Because I envy David who says, only I thirst for you. I thirst for only you. I'm still thirsting for this man who's supposed to be next to me. So teach me if this is my portion, to learn not to thirst for. Because right now I'm still thirsting. And so I'm walking the journey with him. But I have to open my mind in, it's ultimately that phrase that Jesus said, not my will, but your will be done. Let his will be done. And life will unfold in line with that will. I need to be open to sometimes it not going my way. Because the problem is when we don't leave room for God's will, our hearts break when we come to terms with his will. And we get disappointed. We lose our faith. And then
we move from him.
Yeah. And we end up just sometimes even leaving the faith. Because you, I want to say, quote unquote, believed so much that it would happen. And when it doesn't, which is, this is my will. When it happens, you know that, because the Bible says nothing happens outside of his will. When it happens and you're like, this is your will, that I'm going to find him in my 50s? In my 50s? Like, this is your will? Then
and why is this your will?
Yeah, so we tend to have a lot of misunderstandings with the Lord because we don't leave room for his will. It's like, by any means necessary, and so we solicit, like we want to pull the yes out of him, sometimes through religious activity, like incessant prayer, and not with the heart posture of your will, but of this is my will, make it happen, so I'm gonna pray about it and fast about it. And it's like, you need to be like Jesus, who desperately didn't want to die. Jesus didn't want to die for us, y'all. Do you know that? He did not want to die.
I mean, he said it at some point.
He
was
said,
like,
get me out immediately. Get me out. Cut the camera. He said that. But at the end, he said, not my will, your will. And that was God's cue to say he's still on board. He's just suffering so much that he's voicing out that I don't think I'm ready. I don't think I'm ready. It's like when you're about to go off the roller coaster. He was in that moment. But ultimately, God's will was done. So are we ready for God's will? Even if it's that 10 years of waiting. You'll be somebody's wife in your 60s.
Right.
Tina Turner got married in 70.
And she was happy.
She was happy. So the problem that I think is we want it in our time.
And our way.
And that robs us of joy. Because you keep going, I'm 30, I'm 40, I'm 50, I'm 60. But what if it's in your 70s?
It's a hard one. I have a few clients where we've spoken a little bit about when, not the woman who's waiting and not feeling like she's fulfilled her life or living her life and enjoying her life. I think I empathize for the person who feels they've done that and now they're living in monotony. They have friends. They are healed. They
feel ready.
They feel ready, and it's been years, you know. And then for women, it's the biological clock. Yes, women have children after 40, and yes, it's possible, and there's technologies and all sorts of things now. But I do empathize with that kind of waiting.
It's not easy. I mean, Abraham was a great illustration of how it's not easy.
Yeah.
And he was the father of faith. Come on. He's the champion of faith. And he still stumbled in the wait. It is not easy waiting on God. It's the most painful thing. People cry at night because they're waiting, right? But there's
or
such
you lose hope like Sarah.
Yeah.
When God says you will have a son and she
have
lost.
Ishmael.
Yeah.
And you'll create an Ishmael of your own. It's not easy, but I think there's such a beautiful thing in that faith. And that's why God commended him for it. That even though he stumbled at some level, he got up and he picked his faith up again. So it's fine if you crumble sometimes and you cry about it and you're like, I'm tired, Lord, and you throw a tantrum and you pick that faith up again. God rewards that, right?
Okay. On this topic of marriage.
Yeah.
So you've been previously married before.
Yes.
And we spoke a little bit off air. And you've spoken about it before.
It was my whole ministry last year, really. I was just going through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk me through how you have navigated no longer being married. You know, what marriage means to you now.
Sure.
Right? That you have lived it.
Yeah.
So Mosili, the version of you that wanted to get married, what was that view of marriage?
Oh, utopia.
Then you lived it.
Ooh.
And now you're praying for it again.
Yeah.
Has that shifted? What is it?
I think I learned a lot of hard lessons.
Okay.
You know, I was very, what do they call it when you have rose-colored spectacles on about marriage and what it is. I thought it was this beautiful, just, do you get what I mean? Like, you see? I come back home, hilang. You get? Yes, there's babies running around
they're
us.
giggling, there's no tantrum.
There's pitter-patter, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And the reality of it was like, what? Let's rewind a bit. I need to go learn a few lessons.
Okay.
I think that I've learned that marriage is for growth.
Okay.
And it's for coming into the full knowledge of yourself, truly. Okay. Your true self, right? Not the, I want to say the faces we put on in different environments. My church face, my friend face, my daughter face, my sister face. This is me. And your spouse is a mirror showing you that, ooh, there's something that's not going right in here. And having to look at that and say, let me improve this.
Okay.
Would be the ideal reaction.
Ooh.
But the actual reaction is, nobody has ever told me I'm this before. It's probably you. You're the problem. So whatever constructive criticism, which, by the way, we don't know how to communicate, most of us. So your criticism is destructive.
Okay.
Not destructive in the content of it, but destructive in the manner of delivery.
Okay.
All right. So then I don't receive it well because what do you mean?
Okay.
And then I'm defending myself. And then, but you're hurt. So you're trying to protect yourself from my harmful behavior. Like it just becomes
This back
the
and
lack
forth.
of self-awareness, the lack of communication skills, the lack of just understanding ourselves can completely damage the dynamics of a marriage. So I've learned that there's going to be a lot of uncomfortable conversations, and we need to be really good at having uncomfortable conversations, because that's the bulk of, at least while you're building the foundation of your marriage, what you're doing in those first couple of years is like, okay, which parts of you are broken? How do we work together to fix that? Together, not I'm gonna come tell you that you are wrong here. Go fix it. It's like, no, well, let's work together to fix it. You're doing it again, Motak. Okay, let me go try again. I'll try another approach. You're doing it again. So there's a patience and a grace as well that has to come into that space while somebody is unlearning. But we get it wrong at the point of identification. So the work is never done.
There's a lot there, because I like the idea of it being a mirror. Nah? And then me being defensive.
Yeah.
Because if you just think of standing in front of a mirror, that's me, whether I like it or not, right? And I have to accept that what this thing is showing me is me, even the parts that I don't like seeing.
Exactly.
So I can be defensive and throw a rock at it and say, you're broken, but
you're
actually it
still
doesn't
that way.
change.
Still that way.
Doesn't change.
Even in the broken pieces of that mirror, you
It's
still
you.
still got them eyes,
right?
still got that nose, you still got them brows.
And then I think what makes it hard
Yeah.
in partnership, companionship, marriage are the tools that most of us don't have, which start from home. Because when you're talking about communication,
Oh, child.
where do I get those tools?
Who taught us that?
Who taught us that?
Because when your mom was mad,
Unabua Zhuang.
hey, and then when she apologizes, how did she apologize?
Did she? Did she say sorry, or did she just get a warm meal and then you know that she's sorry, right?
Yeah.
I mean, off air, we were talking about both coming from matriarchal backgrounds, right? And we are recovering masculine
Women.
women.
Yes, heavy on the recovery.
Heavy on the recovery.
Yeah.
But that's important, right? Like,
The Dream Stream studio in Randburg is a full-service studio on Bromfisher Drive. It's perfectly suited for podcast, music recordings, and general video recordings. Backed up by an experienced editing and production team means you can walk in, record, and walk out knowing that everything will get done as you require. Our mobile gear ensures we can cover your video and live streaming needs on location too. We got the cameras, the lights, and the action to make you and your brand shine. Contact us now, studio@dreamstream.co.za, and we'll make it happen. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
where would I have learned to speak softly, femininely, powerfully, sternly with a man? Where I grew up in a household where she's not speaking to a man, she's only speaking to her siblings, she's only speaking to her children, and not by any wrongdoing of her own. The partner just wasn't there for me to get that demonstration and that learning.
And even in two-parent households, never witnessing
it, right? Because they too come from somewhere, and if they don't come from an environment that teaches, in psychology I call them I feel statements, right? And the difference I make is, or the distinction I make is, Mosili, you made me feel, or you did this to me. It's a finger pointing way of speaking. A lot
Not
of us speak
I
that,
feel
right?
like.
When you use the word or a swear word, it made me feel disrespected. Not you disrespect me. That's how we speak.
Disrespectful.
You're disrespectful.
Yeah.
That person is absolutely going to, right? So that was something I had to unlearn as well. Like, how do you speak for your point to land and for you to be heard?
And the only place that taught me that was a therapy room. Just by the way.
Okay.
That's where I learned that.
Okay.
That you need to talk about how you feel about something.
And was this in hindsight? Was
this
after?
Was during the commotion of our marriage.
Okay.
That we went to couples counseling.
Okay.
So I had to learn that. I didn't know that.
Does couples counseling help? And help doesn't always mean that when I do couples counseling, I always say there's a couple of outcomes that we're going to get from here. Okay. The function of couples counseling can be two people who grow together, okay, and stay together. It can also be an amicable breakup. And that is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And we're not going to know until the end. But
Yeah.
being somebody who's gone through it, what was your experience? Was it helpful?
I learned so much about myself in couples counseling.
Okay.
So it was very helpful to me. I feel like that's part of like just my coming to know myself,
Okay.
my weaknesses, my strengths, in ways that I've never even known.
Okay.
So for me, it was helpful.
So you'd recommend it for
I
people?
would recommend it, yes. And for me, it was helpful also in understanding why he does the things that he does.
Right.
And I think it helps when you know why somebody does something, that you don't personalize it. It doesn't become a thing of they're this way. You kind of like, oh, it's because of this that they manifest in this way. So it gives you capacity for grace, I think.
Okay.
If you're with a good counselor who's able to decipher your guys's personalities and how you show up in the marriage as to why you do the things that you do, because I think a lot of us don't know why we do what we do. We just kind of know that we do it. But me knowing the why really, really helped me to be patient with the both of us, with myself and with him as well. Although it ended up with us, well, me choosing to exit the situation, I'm grateful for those hours, and there were many, that I sat in that chair with that gentleman who was counseling us in.
And your
couples
husband is
therapy.
going to get a evolved version of you as a result, I'd imagine.
I could give couples therapy because of the way that I've sat in those chairs and listened like, oh, really? Yeah. There's so much that we don't know about ourselves, our psyche, our intentions, our motives, where they come from. Why are you the way that you are? And if you don't deal with a problem at the root, you'll always be fighting each other with the fruits. But if you don't understand what makes your partner tick, that it is for example, for me, growing up in a home where achievement was how I got love and attention. In life, I move like that. So if you reward me, you give me treats as I do good things, you're going to get more out of me. Do you get what I mean? It also gives you ways. Yeah, but also it teaches you the heart of me, that I'm just looking to belong. If you give me belonging, you get what I mean? But if you criticize me in that way or disrespectful, you are tearing me down.
And I was asking you that because I'm biased. Right? I have a very radical view of couples counseling.
Yes.
I have a radical view of therapy in general. I think everybody should be in therapy.
I'm in agreement.
And I think when I say it because I'm a psychologist, people are like, of course you're going to say that.
Can I say it because I'm not a psychologist?
Absolutely. That's what
should be in therapy.
It doesn't need a diagnosis. It doesn't need a clinical diagnosis. It needs life. And life is happening to us every day. Everybody has something.
Yeah.
And I think couples are scared to enter that room because hard truths come out. And if somebody hasn't been in individual therapy themselves, you're finding out about yourself, like you say.
Yeah.
You're finding out about yourself and your person
at the same time.
And that can be overwhelming, right?
You feel naked.
You feel naked. But the radical view for me is I think every couple should be in couples counseling, even when things are going right.
I agree
because I don't think we have the tools and skill set to relationship. And you're only going to get to know yourself in relation to another. There's only so much of myself I can get to know by myself.
Yeah.
The minute we friendship, the minute we love each other and romantically get involved, I'm going to find out aspects of me that, and especially in marriage or something intimate like that, there's only so much my parents and my siblings can teach me. That intimate relationship bears you naked.
And I think the reason why friends and family can't teach you is because your worlds are pretty similar. Right? With those people.
Right.
Once you interface with somebody whose world is so different from you, they start to go, that's not normal. that's not normal in their world.
And abaphila lona every day,
Eh,
so
they're
they
like,
see it more often,
this
and they
is
have
not
to name
how
it.
it should be moving. There's
Right.
other ways to do this, and you're like, there's other ways. So having to experience another person's world and them have view into your world, you start to see that, man, the way we communicate in our family is toxic. I didn't know it was toxic. I thought it was the norm. No, you have to use certain words. These words are not nice words. And
hopefully it feels like he's criticizing the person you love, your mother, because o rutilwe ke mang your mother, and it's like, now I'm defending the bloodline.
you're defending your bloodline.
And now I'm defending my
Yeah.
people, right?
Yeah. It's really hard. It's really, really hard. And I think that's why grace has to be at the center of it. It has to be at the center of it. One thing that our couples counselor said, you always give the person you love the benefit of the doubt. That even when they do something you don't understand, you have to say, what did you mean? Because even words don't mean the same thing to all of us. I understand this word to mean one thing, you understand it to mean another. I need to have the humility to gain understanding of how you understand it, but also the ability to explain how I use it. And for us to meet in the middle and say, okay, this word now means this to us. Are you willing to accept that I can use it? No, it triggers me too much. Let's find an alternative. We won't use cup, we'll use container.
Okay.
And now you have to
And
teach your mind.
and do it.
Yeah, teach
Take
your mind.
ego and pride out of it. When I'm a grown woman, why must I've been using cup all my life.
But your
doesn't-
spouse is triggered by the word cup,
Yeah.
and that's love. Now you have to tweak yourself to learn to stop saying cup. And when I keep saying cup, he needs to say stop. Please remember we agreed not to use cup anymore. Okay, my love, I'm practicing. Because another thing we don't have is patience. Somebody said to me, when you marry somebody in their 30s, you need to understand that when you correct a behavior, you're correcting 30 years
Yep.
of a neural pathway.
Yep.
You're not correcting a love in 5
Yep.
seconds. So you need to give them grace. Remind them with love. My love, I said, let's stop saying cup. Okay, I'm going to try again. Okay, until they actually learn it. And if you keep persisting, the mind is plastic like that. It will learn. But for you to say, yeah, you keep dropping your socks, that means you don't love me. This man has been doing this for 30 years. He doesn't put socks in the basket. So you're fighting that.
And you must remember, so in psychology, when we say something is a disorder,
Okay.
right? Or let's say it's a personality disorder, because you guys like the narcissist and those words now, they buzzwords, they're there, everybody's a narcissist. But the actual clinical diagnosis for something to be a disorder, it has to be pervasive. Okay?
Pervasive is a big word.
Pervasive is a big word. And pervasive is exactly what you've just described. It's something that has happened over and over and over again over a long period of time, consistently, and it sticks. The neural pathway, then it lands, right? For it to change, something has to be unlearned over and over and over again. Neural plasticity comes with repetition and consistency. Then that shifts. Now, if we link that to a Christian belief, fruits of the Spirit, one of them is patience, right?
Yeah.
And the scripture will say, forgive, what is it,
70 times 7. Some versions say 7 times 7. Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And that takes a lot of patience
It
that I
does.
don't think as people in love we have for each other in this day and age. We are so quick to shut down, so quick to write off, so quick to just give up.
Do you think, let me think about this question.
Yeah.
Do you think that it is because someone or you was not necessarily married to their husband to begin with? Okay, and let me explain this. So when people ask me, how did I get to the point of divorce? I say, as much as something brought us together, I don't know that that was my husband and I was his wife. Because did God tell you? And I think the rate of divorces are high because are we getting married out of flesh, out of our own desire, out of loneliness, out of...
That's the way it should go.
And I'm careful how I phrase it because it can sound offensive as if I'm saying something negative about that person. Hence, I include myself. Le nna ne ke se mosadi wa hao. Because ntate Modimo o latla ho wena a re ke hopolang and o nyala the. Do you get what I mean? And so, different people get married for different things, right? And so then, is it harder to live in those fruits of the Spirit, the patience, the grace, when I wasn't ordained to have patience for what you come with? But God has ordained me to have patience, grace, and whatever for my husband. I will be equipped for my husband, and he will be equipped for me, right?
You're asking questions, my sister.
I understand.
I'm listening.
Like, yeah, man. Like, if I wonder, and I don't know, because also as a disciple, I'm like, but you should have patience and grace and forgiveness in general. That's how
But
you
we
should.
struggle with
But I
it.
struggle. But
Yeah.
will I struggle more in misalignment?
Of course you will.
Right.
But you will struggle even in alignment. Because we are also flesh.
But will I have the strength for it? So,
Will you have the strength to contend with the struggles of the one you are misaligned with? Are you saying that if I'm misaligned, I won't have the strength, but if I'm aligned, I will have the strength?
I think, I wonder, I don't know.
You wonder.
I wonder if when you're misaligned, you won't have the strength to withstand that because it was never your portion. Not everything is your portion.
True.
Right? And you will fall because you're doing things out of your own strength. So if I got married for the wrong reasons to begin with, and I didn't know it was the wrong reasons, right? You come to find out, or maybe I didn't have the tools. In alignment, there'll be a struggle, but I might not get out of that marriage because I was equipped for what that was my portion. It's like motherhood or parenthood. I have what
Is needed
for this child because Modimo mfile yena. Like you see parents who even when a child, hey, now I'm speaking so to not everybody, even when a child goes in a different direction, I think that's why parents still have the strength to pray, right?
You know, with children, I think also the level of commitment kind of makes you draw strength because you know, I'm the only mother this child has. Do you get what I mean?
Should we not have the same for our spouses in alignment?
I don't know because I'm yet to experience that. So
because I think the Bible speaks about 2 reasons to get divorced,
which is adultery,
and I forgot the other one.
You get divorced because of adultery, and I think adultery is the only reason actually. Getting married, there's 2 reasons. But divorce, adultery.
Yes.
Is the one that the Bible
and without
cites.
being judgmental, the Bible itself says God hates divorce, right?
Oh, yes, he does.
So I think that's where I rest my point, or where my questioning comes from. If I am outside of that reason, okay, let's say it is adultery. Outside of adultery, the other challenges I will face with my husband, I may not want to divorce him or divorce my wife because he or she was ordained for me. But in misalignment, I'm more likely to, whether it's adultery or not, I'm more likely to say, not this financial
I have an answer.
Challenge.
Because I've been saying, give me the answer, Lord. Let's talk about Hosea.
Okay.
Hosea married Gomer. Gomer was a prostitute.
Yes.
He was in alignment.
Okay. Hey.
He was in alignment.
Kim said we're high.
Yeah? Look, he was going through it. He had to go buy her back.
Right.
After he had brought her in to be his wife, had to go buy her back. I don't think Hosea enjoyed that experience, yeah? I don't think anybody would.
Yeah, you don't have to enjoy it.
Yes. But what I'm saying is, I feel like marriage, the concept of marriage from the fleshly perspective is such a difficult thing.
Yes.
Spiritually, makes all the sense.
Yes.
But once our flesh comes in contact with each other, I think that's what makes marriage hard. I think in alignment and out of alignment, you are going to go through it in marriage. Because even the Bible says those who are married have many troubles.
You will go through it, but Hosea didn't then leave his wife.
So you're measuring whether or not this
If
is
you're not in
alignment, if I'm
alignment,
able
if
to
somebody
stay.
else married his wife,
Okay, but
it would probably end. I wouldn't buy. I wonder if it makes it harder.
I could counter that to say, what if people just stay out of stubbornness and not necessarily...
Yeah, that's my question. How do you
alignment.
know the difference?
I don't know. I'm yet to
Okay.
experience alignment. I don't know. But what I know is marriage is hard.
Yeah.
That's why Paul even says, I would advise you not to
get
do it.
married.
That's why the disciples, when Jesus gave them the condition of adultery being the only reason, they said, then rather not marry. That institution is hard, tough as nails. It's hard. Whether you guys are in alignment or not, whether you guys love each other or not, like, it's just hard. Yes, the love makes it better. And I think once you start doing marriage through God's rules, the submission and the love, and it's in synergy, it makes it a lot easier. That's why God will prescribe it. It makes it easier to move in that space. But we struggle to love. I often say, I feel like God directed men to love their wives because men struggle to love. And I feel like God directed women to submit because women struggle to submit. So while I struggle to submit to you, you better be struggling to love me. So that we can make this easy for us to work through our stuff together in love and submission and not tearing each other apart, which tends to be the way that it goes. Because the other person saying she's not submissive enough, the other person, he doesn't love me enough. And there's no understanding that we are learning how to do this thing. Let's work together. Listen to me in terms of respect. Listen to me in terms of love. And let's cater to each other. That's why we're here together.
Talk me through Rafa.
Rafa
Talk me through
is
your
a ministry that I launched this year.
Okay.
Rafa meaning healing, mending, wholeness. God called himself Jehovah Rapha for the first time with the Israelites when they came to the waters of Mara, which were bitter. And he said, I am Jehovah Rapha, the Lord who heals you. And having gone through the trauma of, I want to say, my life, because I'm realizing that it doesn't start and end with the divorce. It's been a long time coming. And there's a lot we experience that traumatizes us, and we don't even realize that this was traumatic. And so with the divorce, it was the big pang of the history of just going through life and getting your wounds as you go. And I decided to share my learnings, what I've learned, what has helped me. And the Word of God has been literally medicine for me in teaching me how to navigate this space. What does God say about healing? He says beautiful things about healing. He takes it on as a job for him. I'm going to be your healer, just like I'm going to be your provider, just like I'm going to be your peace, all these things. And so I wanted to zone in on healing for Christians specifically, because I think so often we over-spiritualize and put spiritual band-aids on wounds, and we don't actually interface with God in a way that fosters our healing. Somebody was saying, you can't heal if you're still speaking Christianese to God.
Hey, what does that mean?
That means you can't heal if you are you're not lamenting, and you are not breaking down like the psalmist would. And all you do is show up as a prayer warrior and you forget to show up as a child. You need to come face to face to how you actually are. Lord, I'm tired. I'm broken. I'm exhausted. Everything that you feel in its authenticity in order for you to interface with Jehovah Rapha. Because if you cannot acknowledge that this water is bitter, I need this water to be sweet, we can't begin. So what I want to do with Rafa is give people the platform and means through the platform and tools through the platform to actually get to the point where we are authentic in our interaction with God, so we can actually get the healing that we need.
It needs so much safety.
I know.
It needs so much safety.
I know.
So where are you starting your focus?
I
feel like
what I want to
our
do
wounds as humans.
Dilingata though. I feel like the impact is the same.
Okay.
So that's where commonality comes. Yours could have come through the loss of a child. Mine could have come through a divorce. Mine could have come through never realizing my dreams. But we're all broken at some level. And God is consistent in the way that he approaches our healing in all those spheres, right? Right now, I want to bring in therapist partners because I realize that I don't have the knowledge.
Okay.
There's where it ends. I only know so much. I can bring what the word says and how the word has ministered to me, but I also want to bring in therapists, like qualified therapists, to actually be in that space to share their insights regarding healing, where to begin. Because I think sometimes you're broken, but you have no clue where to begin. Like, where can I even the smallest types of tools like journaling that can help you just chart your mind, like, this is where I am, and just make it okay for people to go there as Christians. Because I really think we've gotten into a place where we're powerful prayer warriors, but when am I gonna say, like Elijah, take me, Lord? Like, I'm tired. You know what I mean? And then God can meet the need. But because we have, and I want to say this, I don't want to say it in a way that's condemning, but I've also been like that as a recovering
Recovering girl.
woman. I always want to be strong, but I want people to be okay with just letting down their burdens, casting their burden, and knowing that it's okay that today I can be boom, 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 boom in the spirit. Today I just want to be cradled by God and held, and allow him to bind my wounds.
What did you learn in your Rafa moment? The culmination of Mosili, right? And then that turning point, and you're like, because you could have gone, God, Jehovah Jireh, but Rafa spoke to you.
Yes, I did. Because he healed me. So your question is, how did I?
What did you learn?
What did I learn?
About your healing journey, about...
I learned that...
About yourself, I suppose.
I learned that, first of all, obedience heals.
Okay.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a characteristic of God in healing, and why he asks us to do the things he asks us to do. They are preventative, but they also remedy brokenness. In healing, I've had to walk in forgiveness in ways I never thought were physically possible for me. Okay. I've had to deal with anger on a blow by blow basis in the way that God prescribes us to do it, and actually start to realize what matters in life.
What matters for you?
Peace.
Okay.
Peace. And you foster peace through obedience. The laws of God and the rules of God and commandments of God are always pro-peace. How we speak, how we relate, how we interface with him as well, they're always about peace. So for me, what matters is peace in life. And so through doing things God's way, navigating my emotions God's way, I've found healing.
Okay.
When he said, let go, forgive it. Forgive it. When he says, be patient, be patient. When he says, stop this thing, stop this thing. And I found that really helped me to go through a very, very tumultuous time for me emotionally, following his rules. Don't let the sun set on your anger. Okay. I literally stood before the sunset every day, and I'd say, whatever anger is in me today, whatever made me angry today, whomever I'm angry with, let it set with the sun. And I did that over and over and over again. And over time, I bear no animosity, because every day I would stand and mention it. Today, he said this, then she said that, then I'm going to let it go. Lord, help me let it go. And I go back, come back again. So just following God's rules, literally obedience, because that's what he says to the Israelites at Mara. If you obey me, I will be the Lord who heals you. And it changed my life. If you obey me.
If you obey me. What do you want your daughter to know?
About
about life, about any lesson that you wish you knew. You've lived a full life. You have so many lessons. You are doing life with God. He guides you.
Yeah.
What do you wish she will know or can know now that a younger version of you didn't, or you wish you knew sooner?
The first one would be deal with your stuff before it deals with you.
Heaven.
Because it's going to deal with you. Okay? Deal with your stuff. Figure out what your stuff is. I'm not ignorant to think that my daughter will need therapy because of me. And so I would say to her, figure out what your stuff is. What are the things that need remedying in you? And deal with them. Face them. Do your work, basically. And there's nothing in the world outside of God is another one that I would want her to know, that you can do it all, love. You can achieve it all. But there's something about you that needs God and will always need God. And so secure that relationship. It will carry you through everything that life will throw you at you. No matter what it is. That's the most prepared you could be in life, is to know God and walk with Him. A lot happens.
A lot happens.
Oh, too much happens in this life. If you got God, you got everything.
And it's never too early to talk to our kids about God.
I'm starting already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting already. She made up a song about Jesus a few nights ago. I was very proud. I'm hypnotizing her.
You're planting this. You should.
Yeah, no, because
the
the best
other
thing for
seeds
me
will be planted,
I
and they are
promise
already
you.
being planted.
And I always
so
pray against whatever seeds are trying to be
Yeah.
planted in her. But if I believe in myself that the most prepared I can be for in life is by knowing God, that has to be my number one way of equipping her for life. She can go to school and study and get A's, but how's your relationship with God? Because even when I'm not there, God will be. So it's the best contingency plan I could have. Fine, I have a life policy and a will and whatever else to safeguard her financially. But if I want her to be okay even when I'm not here, for me, from what I've witnessed, it's by leaving her with a knowledge of God so she can walk with Him when they dump her, when she loses stuff, when she gains stuff. Because another thing we don't talk about
now at the playground.
Yes, even now, you know, when
at
she
the
comes back and says,
playground.
"Mommy, so and so hit me." I said, "Oh, Mama, was it painful?" Yes, it was. I'm like, "Sorry, did you forgive them, Mama?" Did they say sorry? No. Did you forgive them, my angel? Because I'm trying to teach her already. And these things I know will benefit her should she ever want to get married, in her marriage. Because forgiveness is such a big part of marriage, my word. If you are a grudge holder, go fix that quickly. Your marriage is going to die.
Right now.
You have to forgive literally moment by moment. So I want to teach her those life skills. Forgiveness, the things that I'm learning. Forgiveness, patience, kindness. The things that God is. Because that's who He is.
I'm coming to Rafa.
Okay.
I'm coming.
Please come.
I'm gonna go deal
I'm
with
excited.
my things before they deal with me.
Yeah, deal with those things before I'm excited. I can't wait to see you there. I'm expectant of how God will show up in that space. I think, as well as the therapy partners that I'll be working with, we are going to do a lot of great work, and I think we're going to give people permission to heal as we heal together. Because I think it helps to see other people also just in community.
Absolutely.
Heal. And I'm going to do my very best to make it super safe, because I understand. I keep saying to the people I'm working with, it's like performing surgery. So you have to make sure that your theater is
spotless.
Yeah.
And I have to trust the initial one. What is it? The anesthesiologist.
Yeah, the anesthesiologist. Hey.
Right? To go down. And then
Yeah.
trust that you're going to do what you're going to do.
Yeah, God willing.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This was such a
coming.
bomb conversation. I feel like there's a lot we need to talk about still. So invite me whenever.
Come back. Nah, I always say people must come back. There's room for you to come back. There's so many questions I have here
That we haven't touched.
that I haven't touched, and they're very important.
That's part 2 questions. Part
Lots
2.
of questions here that you could do it.
I'll be happy to come.
But we have a tradition here at home.
What's that?
Let's start trusting each other. I'm
Hela.
gonna trust you with my healing. You're gonna trust me with 2 minutes.
Okay.
Close your eyes.
Okay.
And I want you to pay attention to your 5 senses.
Mm.
See the images in your mind. See the images that are just floating around. I want you to pay attention to how your hands feel together and just your sense of touch. Paying attention to my voice. Things you can taste. You just had tea. What you can smell. And I want you to think, Mosili, blooming butterfly. What is next for you?
Self-discovery. Self-discovery.
Self-discovery.
That's next for me.
I pray for that.
Amen.
Amen. All right.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.